I figured it'd be best to tell this story while I'm about to take a blood bath. Anyways, when I was very young, I was in a really bad accident. And I basically accepted death, but then ended up not dying, to make a long story short. And then shortly after that accident, I started to have what I found out later on was sleep paralysis. And these were very severe episodes. The first time it ever happened, I was laying there unable to move, and I opened my eyes to darkness, but couldn't move my body, and I could feel something breathing and talking in my ear in a language I did not understand. And then it said in English, "I love you, Bambina." The voice was so deep, no human can replicate it. It was the most terrifying thing I had ever in my entire life felt. A terror that I cannot even describe. I finally burst out of that paralysis in a cold sweat and was really freaked out. Well, these went on, and it was a weird pattern. Every time I was about to wake up, I guess, and the sleep paralysis was going to happen, I would hear a gong go off in my dream. And I started to call it the demon gong, because everything in my dream would turn into a demon and hold me down, and then the sleep paralysis would happen, and they'd all be whispering in my ear, sitting on me, breathing on me, and I wouldn't be able to move. And it also, what was interesting was sometimes when I'd be falling asleep, I would feel myself kind of lucid, like I'd feel myself taking one breath like, ah, and I knew if I would be in between sleep and awakeness, and I knew if I just let go, I could leave my body. But I was afraid to. I didn't know if I could come back. But I felt like that, like I would say to myself, like, just let go, but then I wouldn't. And I'd almost feel myself like spinning around. And I would have like these lucid dreams. I think I had a couple out-of-body experiences because I would be conscious, but I would be like feeling myself rising and like just spinning out of control. Like I couldn't control it. And that's what scared me about it, is I didn't know if I'd be able to get back in. So I didn't want to fuck with it. I was like, okay, basically the demon gong thing would happen towards the end of my dream, and that's when every person that was in my dream would turn into some kind of entity that would hold me down and whisper in my ear and do all this stuff. One time, a friend of mine in real life gave me a cross that he would wear in his hair. He said, "Here, you want to make it into a necklace?" So I did. Made it into a necklace. Fell asleep with that necklace on. The sleep paralysis happened as I was waking up, and I could hear something running around the bed, which was funny because the bed was up against a wall. Then it stopped, and it was over me, breathing, and it said, "I'm gonna rip that thing off your neck," in a deep, frightening voice that I cannot even replicate. It was these episodes, I cannot even describe the fear that I felt during these things, but finally one day I got mad one night. I was dreaming, and in my dream I was following a woman to a door, and she had like a big fro. She looked like her skin tone, she looked like she may have been Hispanic or something, but she had like a big fro. Following her to a door, the gong goes off, and I'm like, shit, I knew it was gonna happen. And she turns, and her face is all cracked, and she starts to scream, and I knew she was one of the demons that was gonna attack me. She opened her mouth, all her teeth were broken, and she was screaming, and something clicked in me, and I just got mad. I was just so sick of this. So as she screamed, I took my eye, and I just went right up to her eye, and I held it there. I held my eye right at her eye, and she just kept screaming, and then she just stopped because there was nothing she could do, or whatever it was. And it just went away, and I woke up. And I haven't really had sleep paralysis that much since then. Every once in a blue moon I'll have it, but it's very rare. But it really was just getting so angry at it that made me just say, fuck it, I'm done. I'm done with these assholes. I have a lot of other ghost stories and stuff that have happened to me, just weird things that would happen when I least expected it. Like, not afraid, just minding my own business, going about my day, and then I'll just see something. That's happened before, but these sleep paralysis episodes were the most frightening things I ever experienced in my entire life. And if any of you have gone through this, you know what I'm talking about. All right, see you later.